3 years ago, almost to the day, I was on a completely different timeline. I was in the wrong relationship with the wrong friends, living in the wrong home environment, emitting the wrong frequency. When I say wrong, I mean the wrong frequency for what my soul truly desired. And these are 5 things I learned about manifesting love and quantum jumping to the timeline where you're with your soulmate that I wish someone had taught me sooner. I had even been studying law of attraction and manifestation. I had been doing plant medicine. I was deep in this work, and love was something that I really struggled with. And I'm happy to say that in a week, I'm going to marry my soulmate, and I have completely gotten on the right timeline. And I'd like to share with you what I've learned. Number one, it is never too late, whether that be too late for you to shift timelines, whether that be too late for you in age. There are things that belong to you vibrationally, and the reason you have a desire for them is because they belong to you on another timeline, is because energetically they belong to you. Meaning, if you have a strong desire to be with a soulmate, it's because there's a person out there that literally exists that also has a desire to be with you. It is because there's a version of you on a parallel timeline that is currently living that life, and you are feeling that energetic pull because that desire is saying, hey, this is possible for you on another timeline. Come connect the dots, shift your vibration, shift your beliefs, and join me over here. Another thing about it being too late is because of a number of relationships that I'd been in that kept not working. And even because of my age, the older you get, especially as a woman, you can start to believe that it's too late for you to find love, that all the good men are gone, blah, 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 whatever. These are all like limiting beliefs that you don't need to subscribe to. But it is never too late for you age-wise, and it is never too late for you vibrationally to shift timelines, because there's a version of you that is living with your soulmate, and you can connect timelines, you can collapse timelines, and you can get there. The crazy thing actually is I met my soulmate when I was 23, and I did not know he was my soulmate. Why? Because I was not vibrationally ready for him, and he probably wasn't vibrationally ready for me. But the crazy thing is, because of the healing work I've done, the manifestation work I've done, the quantum leaping work I've done, I have been able to shift my vibration to recognize the timeline I wanted to exist on, and in 1 week, we're getting married. Number 2, true love feels safe and expansive. It doesn't feel like a sad love song. It doesn't feel like so much of what we had been programmed to believe. This is going to tie into number 3, but the first person that I thought was my soulmate, I thought it was my soulmate because it felt like being on drugs. We were so in love and then so fighting and then together and broken up. And it felt like all those sad love songs you hear where you can't live without the other person and you can't sleep without the other person. And all these things we've been programmed to believe that love is, that is not love, that is trauma bonding. And that is a vibrational frequency. I was totally a match for that vibration. So that's what I kept manifesting in my life. But that kind of love will never make you happy. It wasn't until I am now with my soulmate. And when I look back, when I did know him all those years before, he did feel differently. And I think that that's why I didn't recognize it as love. He is someone that just feels like home to me. But after doing healing work, shifting my limiting beliefs, and clearing a lot of my parental trauma, if you want to say through shadow work and plant medicine, I now know that love is supposed to feel safe. It is supposed to feel secure. And when you truly find your soulmate, if you have done enough healing work to recognize that, it will feel different than any other kind of love. And you will no longer want someone that doesn't call you back or plays guessing games with you. If you have to question if this person like truly loves you back or they're playing games, it's not your soulmate. Number 3, your vibrational frequency literally determines which soulmate you end up with. Now, I do believe in my belief that this person I'm with now is like my ultimate soulmate. However, there was 2 other guys before him that I thought were my soulmates. And if I had stayed at those vibrational frequencies that I was at, I could have had an okay love. Like, I definitely was in love with those people. And at the time, I thought that they were my soulmates. But because I continued to grow and expand and evolve and feel better and have better feeling thoughts and have a higher vibration, I vibrated out of those relationships. So there might be multiple people in your life experience that you think are your soulmates, or maybe you thought an ex was a soulmate, and they might have been a soulmate for a version of you. But As spiritual beings having a human experience, especially if you're watching this video and you're on the spiritual path, we have such a desire to grow and expand that often we are going to vibrate out of those relationships. Those relationships, I do believe, are like soul contracts. They can be karmic relationships. We can learn a lot of things in those relationships. But if you want to settle vibrationally, there might be a soulmate that you have been with if you had stayed at that vibrational level. However, if you continue to grow and expand and you have a desire for something more, it's because your soul is growing into more to be with your ultimate soulmate, the person that is going to reflect back to you the best version of you. And the way you also get closer to manifesting that is by becoming the best version of you. And this ties into number 4. Just like in love, just like in manifesting anything else, desperation energy is extremely repelling. And I don't just mean desperate energy for a specific person, although obviously that's repelling, but this desperate energy, and I totally had this, of this wanting love so bad. And a lot of it comes from not healing stuff with our parents and maybe feeling like wounded and we need to fill the void with something, because I believe the desire for love is because there's a version of us that has that love. Desire for a soulmate is a true desire, but when it's muddled up with all this other stuff that we haven't looked at and we haven't healed and we haven't brought to the light, we can become very desperate thinking that this person is going to solve all our problems, that being with your soulmate is just going to make your life magically better. And the crazy thing is, when you're actually with your soulmate, your life does become better. Like both of your lives start exponentially getting better, money gets better, work gets better. When you're totally with your soulmate, life does get better. But when we're looking for that person to be like a band-aid, that desperate energy is going to repel them because we are not being the vibrational match to that version of us. Like I said, I met my soulmate when I was like 23, and I had a lot of healing work to do. I didn't even recognize that he was my soulmate because at that time, we were not on that timeline. We were not vibrational matches to each other. But I also think that I also was in such a desperate place for love. It just, maybe even if we had gone in together, it wouldn't have even worked out because I would have just been using him to like fill some void. But now that I've done healing work and now that I've really like looked at my wounds and healed them and raised my vibration and raised my beliefs, it was almost like when I stopped being desperate, he showed up. And I know it's so annoying. It used to be so annoying when people would say that, like, oh, when's love gonna find you? Oh, and you stop looking. But you cannot fake vibration. You have to actually pour the energy into yourself and decide not to settle and be okay with being alone for as long as it takes until that person comes into your life. And then really quickly, they come into your life. Number 5, you have to let go of the lesser in order to get the greater. And this goes into what I was talking about, how there are different soulmates on different vibrational frequencies. If you are still entertaining an ex, if you are still in a relationship that in your soul you know is not fully the one, but you're afraid you're not going to find anything else, if you are still entertaining people that treat you like shit, continuing to go out on dates with people that are not choosing you, going out with emotionally unavailable people, and I'm saying this because I was totally there. I was totally a match for that. You cannot vibrationally connect with your soulmate because you are radiating to the universe. I do not believe I'm worthy. I am not worthy of true love. I'm going to take whatever scraps I get. And sometimes, actually, I think mostly in order to be with our soulmate, both my future husband and I had to do this. We had relationships that we were in that were pretty good, but we both knew that something wasn't right. We ended those relationships. And this was before we even reconnected. Not only did we do that, but he even told me he made a decision where he was like, I guess I'm going to be alone because I'm not finding what I want. He was refusing to settle. And I made a similar energetic decision where there was a moment when I broke up with my ex, who I thought I was going to be with forever. And it was so lonely and hard because we had had a good relationship. And I just had this moment of being like, oh my God, like, not that, like, what if this is it? Because I knew that my soul was desiring this sort of love that I now know why I was desiring it, because now I have it and I feel it. And I believe that desires are parallel timeline versions of us calling us towards it, saying, hey, this is possible for you too. This is what you were meant to have. This is what your soul truly craves. And anything less than that is is just not going to fly. Anything less than that is not worthy of your attention, and it is not going to bring you what you want. You have to be willing to hold out for the real true love and not settle. And when you begin to do this work, you will start to get literal nudges from the universe, whether that be dreams, signs, intuitions, impulses, like with quantum leaping to any reality. When you decide that you are going to have your desire, when you cut off all other possibilities, you decide you're jumping to that reality, you're manifesting your soulmate, pay attention to the nudges you get, pay attention to the dreams you get, pay attention to things you hear on the radio, conversations that people have. The universe is literally guiding you to your soulmate. The universe wants you to be with your soulmate. The reason why those other relationships did not feel good was because you were never meant to be in them. The reason why you have such a strong desire to manifest love is because there's a version of you that already has it. Know that what is desired by you is destined for you. And if I did it, you can do it too. Much love.